Hey, everybody, we've got a special guest coming to us live from Los Angeles, California, from Tinseltown. Anthony L. Fernandez is here. He's an award winning and very popular television and film star. He's an incredible actor. You've seen him in a lot of your favorite TV series and in films, and he is joining us right now from LA to tell us about some cool things he's been working on, some cool things that are coming up and lots more. So live from LA, Anthony L. Fernandez is in the house. Anthony, welcome to the Jim Master Show, my friend. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Jim. It's beautiful to be here, and just a shout out to all your fans.
I appreciate that. And to yours as well, who are coming together here on the show to celebrate your career. And, when I was doing the research for the show, I couldn't believe the amount of things you've done and you've been in some really, really cool productions. And before we talk about all of that, because I know you're very proud of your work, how are you doing? How is LA doing? We're here on the East Coast in the New York area. If people wonder where our show originates from, and people wondering, how is Hollywood doing? How's Los Angeles doing right now? We send you our very best.
Yeah, we've gone through it back to back, several months, in fact, but spirits are still high. I always look at the passion of the people reflects the heart of the people. And so, even through the tough times, it's amazing to see the community rally together to support each other, to show the kind of love that humankind needs right now.
Absolutely right. And you've had an opportunity to take on so many incredible projects. You are, of course, known to fans as Calvin in the Happy Madison, Happy Eddie feature film Home Team, and as Angel in the Jeremy Garelick, Will Parker film The Wedding Ringer, currently seen on the Fox drama 911 Lonestar and in Splash City as well, and appearing as the Modelo Man and ads all across the country. So you've got your hands in everything, my friend, huh?
Yeah, it's man, I've been blessed, amazing career, a lot of beautiful people that have opened these huge doors for me that, I started out background, but with hard work and people seeing that hard work pay off, it's just been an amazing career. Yeah.
Tell us how it all got started. You are from the LA area originally. How did you first get inspired? And did you have, entertainers, actors, actresses in the house? What inspired you early on as a kid to sort of want to pursue this work? And was this your first choice?
No, actually, I was born in Washington State, so I'm not originally from here.
So you're
And
from the
my,
beautiful Pacific Northwest, huh?
well, that's where I was born, but my mother was always starting over and moving, and so it was me, my brother, and my mother. And growing up, it was a lot of different places, a lot of different faces, but we were always struggling.
Yeah.
And I just knew in my head that I didn't want to struggle. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but when I was younger, movies always kept me kind of balanced. I would go into that imaginary world, and I was always fascinated with it. But somewhere along the lines, I just got a little bit older, and you get involved in certain things and trying to figure out who you are. So I didn't really realize that I wanted to be an actor at all. Actually, I believe it was music that inspired me to want to, get into the studio and record. And I was just young and influenced and belonging to the culture and the streets in the 90s. And so I found myself at a crossroads where I really had to kind of leave the street life alone. And I decided to come back down to LA. And when I got back from up north, I started bouncing at a nightclub called The Boogie. So it was always tough guy stuff. It was always kind of on the edge. But sooner or later, I had a baby on the way and had to figure out how to take care of a family. And that was the same club I was thriving at actually closed. So I had to figure out what I wanted to do to support my family and to have a career that I was actually proud of. And so, to be quite honest, I went back to school for a degree, what I thought would be a degree, but I decided to take acting as an elective. And along that way, I said, you know what? I know I'm here to get a degree in business, but I think I'm going to try and go out professionally for acting. And I studied for about 3, 4 years before I went out professionally. And I think that was around 2008, 2009.
And when you went out professional, and we're so glad you did because you're a really talented guy, what was the first
Thank you.
opportunity that you had, or one that you recall that really made a difference, that really got people to appreciate your work and want to work more with you?
It has to definitely be The Wedding Ringer. That was an amazing opportunity. Thank you so much to Jeremy Garelick. At the time, I was so green that I didn't even realize um, comedy. It was just something I was learning, and for him to bring me in on to such a huge platform with all these amazing stars, and I was just blown away. It was surreal and life changing. And after that, it put me on the map. That was definitely the one that I was like, I've arrived. And I have a friend of mine, actor buddy Johnny Ortiz, and he told me that he was like, just stay the course and work hard. If they put you in one thing, they will put you in another. So don't
Mhm.
think that it was a fluke. You earned it, and on to the next.
I mean, how cool is that to kick off with something like The Wedding Ringer? I mean, that was a great one to start with, huh?
Yeah, Ignacio, Kevin, Josh, and they brought so much comedy to it. That's the one thing that I love about acting is when you collaborate and you get to be on a set where you're seeing people how their creativity flows and how their energy flows and how uh, just the vibe can really change and make a difference in the final product. And when you have geniuses out there, it's like, um, there were times where things were improv, and they work out beautiful. They work out better than you could have ever expected, but you have to actually get in the room, feel these people. And luckily, it was amazing, man. They were just really great people to work with, great men with great hearts. And I loved it. It was just amazing. It allowed me to be free.
Which is really cool when you have the opportunity to express yourself freely like that. Then people can really appreciate and see you at your very best, which I think is awesome. And people remember, of course, The Wedding Ringer. They also remember this one too, as I mentioned in the introduction, Home Team. uh, I mean, another fantastic one. How did that happen for you?
Well, we were coming out of COVID, and I really didn't know too much about the film itself or the dating. I had heard, you heard sort of what the deal was with the Bounty Gate and everything, but so it was self tapes. And I remember coming into the business, sometimes you would ask, well, I can't make that audition. Can I send you a self tape? And unless you were really established, it was almost like, how dare you? No way if you can't make it in. But the world was changing. So luckily, my agent got me this amazing script, and I thought it was funny. And there were elements of it that are football and sports, and my grandpa was always he was a football and basketball coach growing up, and I have a little bit of athleticism in me, and my son went to Fresno State, and so it was just an amazing thing. I sent in my first tapes and got the call back, and I believe that I had got two callbacks for that one, because by the time you make it to the producer callback, that's when you're like, wow,
Mhm.
I just want this so bad. It's a Happy Madison. And I did speak with one of the writers, Chris Titone. He was also in it, Jackie Sandler's brother, and it was amazing because he told me basically what the process was and how they were looking through so many people, and everyone would sort of read it a certain way. And it was just because at that moment in time there was something in me that had happened where I was just striving for the most authenticity, and I really coming into my own. So he just really said, you did earn it. Everyone was excited, and next thing you know, I was in New Orleans for 3 months filming with the Happy Madison crew, and it was amazing. Kevin James, Taylor Lautner, Rob Schneider, intimate moments around maybe the hotel or the gym or on set with people that would drop jewels of wisdom in life as well as the career. And I soaked it up. I missed my family, but it was the most amazing experience I had actually driving out to the set and seeing the scope and scale and magnitude, the amount of manpower and just the time, effort, and money that people put into believing that you deliver when that camera hits you and it's time. That's an amazing feeling.
And being surrounded by such a great cast
Mm.
too. I mean, all have, made their marks in the industry. That had to be cool, huh? Playing off each
Yeah,
other in the collaborative effort.
yeah, absolutely. As I said before, when you get people actually together and start feeling the vibe, and I think that's where the magic happens. Things. I always say a great script starts with the writing. It has to be a great story and it has to be translated well. But then when it needs the life, you need to, that's why casting, respect to casting, because they have to pick and choose these people. And oftentimes, they're talented and you can put them together, but you don't know whether they can, gel together, especially if maybe they didn't have a camera read together or a test. But, once again, you get comedic geniuses like that, and it's just an amazing thing. They taught me a lot, and when we'd riff back and forth, I was just blown away because sometimes, honestly, I was speechless. I was like, "Well,
Yeah, you're just like,
yeah, should have said that. Oh, should have
sort of
said that."
pinch me moments, right?
Yeah, yeah, literally. And like Rob Schneider, watching him as I grew up and reflecting on the fact that I had seen him so far along before I had even dreamed that I would be there, sitting there, filming and getting to speak with him and even Kevin. He was an amazing person to work with, always kind and helpful. And so, yeah, that was just a great experience. Love and respect to the Canadian brothers. They're amazing. They have a great vision. And I love the fact that, we did do a family story. It was something that the kids could watch. And there were a lot of dads that would tell me, it was like, hey, man, that was a great movie. I love it. It's still one of my kids' favorites. And, that makes me proud.
Do you have a preference for drama or comedy or thrillers, or you just love it all?
I absolutely love it all now.
Yeah.
I would have said drama to begin with because to me that's where you get. I would have thought you got more into the emotion and psychology of humans and relationships, but that's truly across the board. That's comedy. That's the intelligence or the hypocrisy of humanity. It's the way of telling your story. Sometimes it's a way of subtly changing someone's point of view because you didn't throw it all out there. You used subtle things. A lot of the uh, things that I grew up watching. Even Monty Python, the intelligence that it takes to entertain in a very intelligent way. And then I was fascinated and captivated by the period pieces, westerns growing up. Young Guns to this day is one of my favorite films. When I was a kid, I just remember being enthralled watching it, and I think it was something more of like just the adventure of what history has left us and the excitement of where we're going in the future.
Cool stuff. And those are some great selections too. And you really would you say you were a kid of TV? Did you enjoy TV as a kid?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it was in some ways it was better, some ways maybe not. But I remember that it was the heartbeat of America because unless you had cable and even those channels were limited, we were all watching the same few channels with the same shows that would come on, or we would get to see the trailers drop at the same time by watching TV. And it is better because there are more choices now, and a lot of independents or things that may not projects that may not get seen are able to have a platform. But there's still some nostalgic part that it was like Community and the blockbusters, theaters. I'm definitely a kid that grew up watching a lot of TV, Quantum Leap, 18,
Mm.
Chips, and it's funny to me too because we have a younger generation that doesn't realize how on the edge of understanding and seeing each other regardless of race or culture we actually were when you look back on like uh, Archie Bunker and you look back on the Jeffersons and even Saturday Night Live for having that sketch with Richard Pryor and Chevy Chase. That was just insane. But we were speaking to the views of change and the hope that like we could understand each other. So I loved growing up in a time where TV, even uh, people may see it as old fashioned, but it really wasn't, and we were taking on a lot of really interesting topics. And there may not have been many diverse characters growing up, but there still were a lot of diverse characters in the shows that we watched.
There were, when you think about it, and Norman Lear was one of those groundbreaking creators with All in the Family and Jefferson's Good Times, Maude, and just everything else,
Absolutely.
and remember Chico and the Man with Jack
Oh,
Albertson and
Chico.
Freddie Prinze on NBC.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that was
and
another.
it may have
Paula
been.
Reese was on that too. Yep.
Yeah, it was, and they were amazing. They were far beyond their time, and we just have to realize the fact that we still did have representation. And I give love and respect to everyone in any group that has kicked down the door or had to do that, because when we act like we're not satisfied sometimes with what was given or what was taken or what was done collectively, it's disrespect to what the people before us have done. And I believe that we find a happy balance, and at some point we're responsible for kicking open more doors or taking that and running with it, rather than kind of leaning on the fact that people may not want to hear our point of view. That doesn't matter. You can always, even in my career, I started out bald head. People don't know I'm tattooed all over. I played the extra. I played the heavies, the gangbangers, and at some point it just snapped in me. It switched, and I said, I want to play real characters. This is great. I love the bad guys, but I want to play people with depth, because just because you may look a certain way, that doesn't mean that you can't play certain roles. So I did everything that I could to learn about maybe covering up the tattoos. I grew my hair out. I started taking better care of myself, and the amount of work that I put in really reflected on what I wanted to do. It was because I had a clear idea of playing these other roles. And starting out from the gangbangers, now I'm given roles like detectives on Fatal Attraction. And even if I play a bad guy now, sometimes I put in that work to where, truth be told, season 3, I was a creep, but I was a billionaire creep. So I got to wear some nice suits and drive the Tesla and go home to the mansion.
If you're going to be a creep, you must be a billionaire creep, right?
Exactly.
You've had the opportunity also to be a part of some of the legendary and iconic franchises too, like Hawaii
Absolutely.
Five O.
Yes.
What was that
It
like?
was that was such an experience to go to Hawaii and just feel the jungle. And I worked with Daniel Kim. That was an amazing, such a free actor. We had him on the chain and he was collared up, and I'm sure it was uncomfortable, but we did the dance. A lot of times that's what it's about, is especially when you're intense into a scene, it has to be the right person as that heavy that does the dance, so that everything looks as real as possible, but you really are consciously uh, making sure that you're not hurting your co-star.
Another
But I
great
mean, what
one
an
too.
amazing scene. It was
Oh, just to
beautiful.
be in Hawaii and to have that
Yes.
experience like that
Yes.
as a part of that iconic franchise. Another
And
SWAT too is another.
oh, there
Yeah.
you go, man. S.W.A.T. Oh, beautiful cast and crew. Really supportive. And they had an amazing run, I believe there's a person on the last season, or is that a wrap on that one?
Mm,
Amazing show, though.
hmm.
It was great getting to just work with everybody. And like I said, you get these personalities that have, fostered so much creativity and put so much into these characters in this story, that you owe it to them when you come on to, it's not just about belonging, because most times you'll see that these great casts and people will welcome you in, but you just want to carry the weight and make it stand up to, like you said, those iconic names that you have the door open to and be blessed enough to work on. Yeah.
So many, like I mentioned, Hawaii Five O and SWAT, and also another one, NCIS, and that's a
Oh,
fantastic franchise to be a part of
yes.
that. Just the exposure, but also to work with everybody. Cool stuff there for you too, huh, Anthony?
Yeah, Mark Harmon, that was an amazing experience working with him. That was not just the fact that I got to work with such a heavy hitter, but the work that I had put in on that particular project. Uh, he really taught me a lesson in acting, and I don't know what it was, but I was prepared. And when I got to work with him, there was just this beautiful give and take that I'm still proud of to this day. And then I got to have an amazing buddy with Wilmer Valderrama. Uh, he's an amazing person, and he's very talented. He welcomed me into his show, and that was the first time they actually got to see Agent Torres's apartment, and it was just a great episode, great character. That was actually part of that evolution where I was starting to really get these great roles and entrusted in my craft and bring larger characters to life. So that was really a great experience. Oh, Young and the Restless.
Young and the Restless and Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives, yes. I mean, amazing. When you think of when you kind of are setting up the blueprint for what you hope you can do for your career, sometimes shows that you watched. I remember watching those when I was little. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
my grandma
Iconic
having it
stuff.
on the TV. And yes, it's just amazing to know that you're part of that lineage, that you were brought in. And those are a different beast, though. They move at such a swift pace. Everyone is great, but it's a different level of being prepared.
Scripts
And
and dialogue is
oh yeah,
thick and lots
oh
of it,
yeah.
right?
And I would see them. Some of these actors are delivering like 9 pages in a scene, and I've seen them on the spot deliver new sides on the spot, and say, "Oh, we did some change ups," and they're just so experienced and great at handling that. That that's what I love about film and television. That there are so many genres and ways of going about doing things, and productions that they just move at a pace and keep everything going. And you have to go Monday through Friday, but it's just an amazing thing to see how different things work and get that experience. That's one of the biggest blessings of my life, is being able to have so many different kinds of experiences that have pushed me out of my comfort zone. Uh, to my craft and my professionalism and who I am, and so I'm just grateful for all those opportunities.
A lot of people, we've had a lot of soap stars on and producers, behind the scenes people, directors too, stop by as guests on the show. And they say that, if you make it on the daytime programming, the soaps, and you get through all of the rigors of that, you can do just about anything.
Hey, I agree. Honestly, if I take the actor part out of it and I'm just looking at from what I have seen on productions and different types of shows, then yes, I mean it is definitely one of the most time consuming, and it asks a lot of you, but it's so rewarding uh, as far as looking inward when you're thinking about what you've accomplished in your craft, to know that you're on one of those sets.
Another one, Superstore too. You were a part of
Oh
that.
yeah,
That's cool,
oh yeah,
huh?
oh yeah.
People are
Superstore
remembering
was
all
great.
of these as they're watching our show. They're like, "Oh my god, he was on that. Oh, I remember seeing him on that. Wow, that was him on that." Yeah, it sure is, folks. He's everywhere. He's omnipresent, Anthony L. Fernandez.
Yeah, I mean, character acting. That's
Yeah.
really what it has come down to. Is that that's what I wanted to do. So sometimes you sacrifice people recognizing you right off the bat because you don't keep the same exact look. But I have the beard right now because we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I could shave this off. Sometimes cut the hair down, grow it out, and definitely take on different mannerisms. And that's very much part of what I've wanted to do in my process. Even with home team, there's a funny story Chris had told me. The father that I play, Calvin, he is based on a true person. He was a Mexican guy, so they said when wardrobe was looking through, it was lost in translation. They said, "Well, what do you want us to put him in?" And he said, "A cowboy hat." And they didn't really go into too much detail about that, I guess. And so when they fitted me, they put me in a Cowboys football, baseball hat, and then it brought on a whole different element because then I was like, yeah, this is what I wanted. This is the football bat, and so I decided even on that element was like I went with a more Texas accent rather than a Spanish accent. On It's Bruno, you can find that one on Netflix. Slick Naim, he did an amazing job, and I worked on that one out in New York, by the way. But that one, I took on the Brooklyn accent, and I became Barry Bailando, and I made
Yeah, I was
that
going to say,
conscious effort.
let's hear some of that Brooklyn accent.
Barry Bailando.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, I'm from Brooklyn. Represent. My name's Barry Bailando.
It's Tony in the house.
Tony in the house. Forget about it.
That's it.
Yeah,
That was a
but
cool to be part of that
it
on
was so
Netflix,
fun.
huh?
Yeah, yeah, that was fun at the time. I got to be honest, I didn't even know what it was. Uh,
Yeah,
you know,
right?
Uh, it was called Puggle Trouble, and there were some great actors on there. There were people I've gotten to work with before. Shakira Barrera, she's an amazing actress. Uh, but we did know that we were making something that was special, and out of all of the projects that I could have been on at that time, I just things in the stars were aligned and written for me. The story was written because of all the projects that year I could have been out there working on that you think you don't know where they're going to go, but then you realize that it's an amazing short form series that's going to Netflix, and they even got nominated for the Emmy that year for best short form
Mhm.
comedy. And so yeah, just working with people and the places that you find yourself in, and I just knew that I wanted to be a character actor. The Johnny Depps, the Tom Hardys, uh, you know, those are the people that I look up to. Just the ones that can put on a different face, can do take on the mannerisms. And there are several ways that are things that are in our face when we're studying as actors that sometimes you have to be reminded they're there and they're so obvious. But sometimes if I'm trying to get my hair a certain way and it's not working, I'm like, well, what's wrong with it? Well, if you're talking about a person that like would make sure that everything is washed and conditioned and styled right, rather than just trying to find the technical suit looking, you have to go through those motions methodically like the actual person would in getting ready, not just throw on the suit to look like you're, the millionaire and then combing your hair. But those are all things we really don't remind ourselves sometimes unless we consciously are working, and you discover things, you write them down, you try certain things. And I have no problem trying things and failing. My ego is
Checked at the
down
door,
because
right?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
checked at the door. Yeah.
So, you're basically saying that you love the craft and it isn't all about the money.
Oh
Like that
no,
segue?
that's a great one. Oh yeah, that's a great one because that was one of the first ones that I was on when I started acting, and I have some of the guys that I met on there were actors that have shared on the same journey. Sometimes guys don't make it.
Right.
You start out doing background, and then over the years, people establish careers. Some people fall off, and I look back on All About the Money because I got the chance to work with a great cast. They were really, Eddie Griffin's amazing. He's hilarious. Uh, but I made some great lifelong friends on that one, and it was kind of like one of the biggest things that I had been on because I believe that was even before the wedding ring.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we were looking at the research and I was like, wow, he was in that too. And also House
Yeah.
Party.
Oh, house party, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. That was just amazing to be invited. Really, Kim Cole, thank you.
Mm,
House party. I mean, it was just amazing to be cast for and to work with Kid Cudi. Now that
mhm.
was one thing. That was one of those times where I just came in and always give advice to the viewers. Always get that picture. Always ask at the right appropriate times. Most times I have no problem with it, and by that point in my career, there was no shyness about it. It was just I was kind of like I wanted to get the job done. I was in good spirits. It wasn't like I was irritated or anything, but So we filmed and everything. But that was one of the times where I should have reached out and like, hey man, let me get a picture with you, because he was more than generous with his time and
And probably would have
but
done it,
film.
right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just our failure to act or ask, and that's not just in that particular situation, but that's great life advice. It will always prevent the what ifs. I always say if I had to, they told me that my career has to stop today. I would look back and say, well, I, I answered the what if. So,
Right.
you can try and take it away from me now, or, I can grow gracefully and, or it can boom. But for, for the question that would have lingered, if I had gone the other way, or if I had chosen an easier path to just get out and, and I didn't. People don't realize while I was when I started acting, doing backgrounds, it was before COVID. We're talking like 2009, 2010, and I logged every mile, every audition, whether I got it or not. And I bounced at nightclubs because that was pretty much all I knew. I even repoed. I would go into auditions. I would literally go into an audition and I would hop into a repo truck with my buddy, and we would be out in L.A., Hollywood, South Central, Inglewood, East L.A., Watts, you name it, we were there.
Those guys are really busy now.
Oh yeah,
They are
make
busy
your payments.
since the pandemic, right?
Yes,
A lot of
yes,
people
make
bought
your
the
payments.
vehicles with the money, but then realized when the payments came and the money stopped, uh-oh, $1,000 a month for this vehicle. I have a friend who did that as well, and the stories he would tell, um, it's extraordinary. And sometimes people come running out of the house chasing after you, and
Oh yeah,
yeah, you probably have a lot of stories. You could write
oh yeah,
a book about it, right?
yeah,
They've even done TV shows on just what that process is like and what people go through.
yeah.
Um, it's incredible. Close Range, another.
Mm, come on, Scott Atkins. Yeah, this was a great one because it was my first door open into action, and not
Yeah,
just a little bit of action or a little bit of stunt work, but
but some
seeing
really,
him, seeing him in action, just warming up. Even we would be on set, just and he would come out of his trailer, and I think he had his pre workout or something. He was
yeah, he was
pumped, and
ready to go, right?
he was ready to go. Yeah, and then they let us get in on it, and everything was great. Isaac Florentine, he's an amazing director. He wanted everyone to, get their hands dirty, but it was always done in a safe, choreographed manner. You literally got to see how the greats do their thing, and there was a great response for Close Range, and that particular one, I believe it was just an offer. They were really gracious to me, and I was really grateful to them. And but I brought it, and at that time, I believe it was just because I had earned it. And like I said, it's nothing that you can say, well, I did it all on my own. As an actor, we always have to say, well, I'm better than everyone. Oh, no, I'm no better than anyone else, because you got to keep yourself centered and balanced. But when it comes together, and it's just a great film that you're invited onto, and you get to come do your thing, man. That was great, and I got to do some stunt driving in that one too. Yeah, that was fun. It was really fun, intense.
Cool stuff. I mean, really great variety of material as we're going through, some memory lane moments here, but just really some amazing stuff that people are remembering. A lot of our comments are coming in from our viewers live right now. They're welcoming you from all around the world, and they're saying they love you, they love what you do, they know all these shows and these movies. Welcome everybody, all our lovely viewers watching. Thanks for the comments, and I encourage anybody to drop a comment below too. And if there's one of the great productions from television and film you remember Anthony in, let us know. Drop a comment, interact with us, because we just love hearing from our viewers. Bridge to Somewhere, another, huh?
Well, this one is one of those tricky ones, and it's great for lessons. Sometimes you work on something that doesn't see the light of day,
Right.
and even though it's a great piece of cinema, it introduces you to the politics of Hollywood, and
Hmm.
um, you
Editing room
know,
floor and all of that.
yes,
Hmm.
yes, especially if you're an actor too. You do want the real. You want people to see this. You can see amazing names like Chelsea Rendon and Bobby Soto, and myself as well in there, Cesar Garcia, Noel G. But
Great people.
as actors, we really have no hands on what comes out. If it does come out, I will definitely promote it. And it's actually a great scene. One great scene that I'm in. I was just emotionally for me in bringing it to another level with the character that I portrayed. That was a really pivotal point in my career.
So you'll be back as soon as that comes out, and we'll announce it here on the Jim Masters Show.
I will.
But
Absolutely.
funding, a lot of times it's the funding and things of that nature that
Yeah.
comes into play, right?
Yeah.
Distribution and all that stuff. You can do the acting, do the work, get it done. It's in the can, ready to go. But then there's other people don't realize there's other things that have to happen to get it out there for people to see the amazing work. Rebel, another one.
Oh, that was a great show.
Yeah.
John Singleton, Danielle Monet Truitt. She's an amazing actress. They brought me on as a series regular. As Texas, I was the heavy, and it enabled me to take on a whole different character. Sometimes you only have so much time, depending on the size of the role and the project, to really figure out what this character is, deliver it, make it make it your own. But the more that you have in a project, the more character they give you. It's great because it's not just living that character for a snapshot or a day or a moment. It's literally getting day after day to breathe and make this character evolve as you do through the project. And the episodes that I was in were very intense, and it's another thing where there were so many amazing actors and talent that was on that. We were really like a family too. Love and respect to John. That was the same year that Snowfall and Rebel came out, so he was really turning it out, and he changed a lot of people's lives with the opportunities that he gave. And we still live in that today. And I was even watching, my youngest daughter's getting older, and we watched Boys in the Hood for the first time, accompanied by me. But to see like the story, and it reminded me, and I reflected back to when I was like 12, 13, and it had just come out, and it was a reflection of the times rather than even a gangster movie. It was literally making a statement. And John did something so special. And you see how that has grown into, so many talented people and great projects such as Snowfall. I was able to be on that one as well.
That's another great one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. What was it
I
like
got
being
to
on that
play
one too?
That was great. I got to play a cartel member. He was in the closet, and it was another one of those ones that pushed me into a different zone. But I always look at it that, I've heard guys before in the industry say, well, that's not me. And I laugh because, there's always elements of you that you bring to it, but it's never you. And we do a disservice to acting when we say, I won't tell this story or that story, because it's supposed to be telling stories of humanity. You may not be a drug addict. You may not be a prostitute. You may not be a police officer. But if you turn down roles based on what your lifestyle is or who you are, then as the actor, you're doing a disservice to these stories. So, I was happy to work on Snowfall and bring that character to life because somebody had to play it. And when it's something that I feel should be given respect, no matter how big the role, it should be. And it should be done by somebody who really understands what telling these stories are about, and telling people's point of views and representing them with respect.
You've played some really incredible roles, some iconic roles too. We talked about the comedy, we talked about the drama. How do you work through not taking that home with you? Sometimes you can get so immersed in a character. I know I've heard stories of people saying, that character just really got inside me and wouldn't let me go. How do you uh, parse yourself away from the character so you can go back to being Anthony and not being that character? How do you put everything you've got into that character, but then give you time to breathe and separate? There are people I know that sometimes there's even a blurred line between themselves and the character, and they almost take on the persona of the character in everyday living. How do you work through all that so you don't, become so consumed with it when you're not playing the character?
It's a great question. Um, for me, and this isn't many circumstances, but for me, it was almost in reverse. I think a lot of it is with us because we instill so much of who we are into characters, and then we study and take on certain traits or mannerisms that we see in the world around us, and then based on the fictitious elements maybe that the character has, then we have to layer over that. But a lot of my work, since it has been more gangsters and my past, it was definitely one uh, of adventure and danger and many times life threatening in my younger years. But those are the things that I take with me to the set, and whatever it is there, that's where I leave it, and that's why for me that's the process. When I've worked hard to come up with this and it's on the day and we're covering it, if it's the emotional scene that we have to get, it's that one that I have to really let loose for, then you prepare for that. But I leave it there because it's already a part of me. But the mannerisms, given enough time to work on something, uh, away for enough times. I even remember with It's Bruno, I had done Barry Bailando so long that even coming home, I was gone for like a month and a half. So coming back to the family is so different. Not, you're not talking the same. Even being around New York, you're not acting the same.
Yeah, going
But
back to the West Coast saying, "Where's that good pizza?"
hey, there you go. But it really is. I think it's about keeping yourself centered in anything, because we can lose ourselves in anything that we do. I think it's just more prominent and noticeable with actors, entertainers, celebrities, people that you can see every day and literally watch their work and then hear these crazy stories sometimes about how someone went in so deep. And when I started, it was nothing but like Daniel Day Lewis method, and then
Yeah.
I learned sometimes you just got to shut up and say the line. Sometimes it's like just come in here and do this. But to me, I still get as prepared as I can. I want to live in that character, but to have a healthy way of releasing that, you must have things that you own, things that you can do while the audition's been sent. If you're not working at that moment in time, then it should give you have something for yourself that isn't always the entertainment, and I love it. It's hard for me because I'm all about movies and film and watching, but at the same time, you have to go to the gym, you have to go out and hike, paint a picture, you like create some other kind of art. You have to be really centered because we're humans, and I'm no different than anyone else. I have my good days and I have my bad days, and as I get older, just luckily I'm able to catch myself quicker. So when I feel certain ways, I'm like, oh, hold on, it's not that big a deal. And I calm down. But to really release whatever it is that character has brought in, some characters are up here, some are there. So when you are playing like who's Julia Roberts' brother, or no, not Eric Roberts, into the that
We had
a
Eric Roberts
movie.
on the show too.
Well, I was just thinking about one where you play an undercover cop that goes too deep, and
Mhm.
he becomes a drug addict, and that kind of thing. You can go in pretty deep. So just good relationships and a healthy lifestyle that you can bring home to. But for me, honestly, for me though, those are my suggestions. But I leave it there.
Yeah.
I leave it there, and the things that I still deal with and struggle with in my own past, and coping with anything in my life, that would be there regardless of what that career was. It only happens to be the thing that helps me and is cathartic for me, because I always laugh because I realized I would see people when we would kind of like stand in first in acting, and you're getting into it, and there's this little beat like ding, people get uncomfortable, and so little thing. But when you connect that to a performance, for me, that's that little electric energy that's trying to get out. And so when I can channel that and put it out, that's what really is a release for me. And it really doesn't matter what it is, because I'm comfortable in my masculinity, but I can act like a goofball. And then at the same time, I can play scary heavy, but I know me centered, and the person me now, it's like you're just acquiring tools for the toolbox. As you get older, you hit realizations, and so that part of me now, it's a father, or
Hmm.
has a certain lifestyle. You realize what it's like to open another chamber of emotion and psychology, and
Right.
you know.
So what you do in television and film as an actor and being involved in, the dramatic arts and entertainment, it's digging into and diving into other aspects of who Anthony is and
Mhm.
allowing them to rise to the surface, and even sort of giving you an opportunity to explore other sides of who you are that maybe you didn't tap into before, but you get to express through the art, right?
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. It really does, though.
Yeah.
It's self-expression as well as a voice for the character. And sometimes we can get caught up in the Hollywood shuffle, where, and I'm a realist in every sense, that yeah, this is art we create, but then there's a business to it. People are putting time and money, investments, in projects. So we owe it to ourselves to find that happy balance to where you can do the work, but that part of it, that's why they pay you what they pay you as an actor. Or you get to these points that's why you're entrusted with that much work, is because some of us are given a little bit more of a range of feeling these things and being able to emote, and to be able to use that as you slowly acquire these new things and new experiences in life. That's why I always say no one really should be anywhere that they were 10 years prior,
Right.
because 10 years, a decade worth of experiences, then you should be different, you should be changed. You
Growing and
haven't spoken to
expanding.
enough people. Yes, growing and expanding, and even maybe you find yourself changing in the sense, like, some people unfortunately will get more bitter as time
Yeah.
goes by. Some
Right.
people will
If they're
become
stuck.
more enlightened and open and loving. We were just talking about that earlier. Is that I want to find that, and I don't mind. I'm human. I fall, so I get back up. It's
You
not
have
going
to
to stop my
adapt to
journey. Is that I'm
changes
in
too.
search of ultimate love, like for
Right.
everyone, not
Right.
self-serving, not an angle. And the guy that you would have seen 30 years ago, or 20 years ago, even, he would have told you a totally different thing. He would have been like, every man for themselves. I really don't care what you have to say about that. And it didn't mean I didn't have the same heart. I was always a good person, but you realize, see what I'm saying? Like, some people, the experiences, every opportunity you're afforded, um, allows you to be better, uh, as far as how you see things. Because it's not like I won't get a flat tire or something bad won't happen. But the way that I look at it is, back in the day, I would have threw my hat on the floor and kicked it and cussed up a storm. And no, now it's just different. These are things that happen. So let's find the solution and not get emotional. And
Right.
emotions
Exactly.
can make a great hype man, but they
Right.
make a horrible front man.
Right. Exactly. Yes. You
So I
would have been
use
the
those
guy
as a
years
tool.
ago I would have called if I had any trouble.
Oh yeah, I got your back.
Right.
I was just, I was cracking up. I just, my friend, my best friend in the whole world, just celebrated his birthday. But I have my life that has kind of gone this way, and his has gone that, and he's still a great guy, big heart. But him and his buddies, I love them all to death. But they're like, I used to be the bouncer crew, the
I
tough
imagine they're
guys,
proud
and
of you to see the
they are.
success. Them, the old guys from the past, but also the family, and people know what it takes, and the blood, sweat, and tears, and what you've had to do to get from point A to point B where you are now, huh?
Yeah, they are. There are a lot of proud people, and a lot of people that remember who I was. And I always look at it as like, oh, it wasn't just bad, but I was, I was should have been have my own spot in some book somewhere.
You were
But it's
finding
amazing
yourself.
because, yeah, uh, the the harder it is, the greater the testimony when you tell your life story, and they're proud because I represent for them. And it's not just them; it's the whole culture. It's anyone that, back in the day, it was easy to be maybe blue collar and come to Hollywood and you'd be discovered. But I'm doing this not just for myself, but every guy who remembers how we all were growing up in our pasts and the things that we've done. That they believed in me, and I always tell them, I said, "Watch, I'm going to do this." And yeah, and on the other end of the coin is other side of the coin is that there's so many people that I grew up with that are dead and gone. It was hard.
Right.
Uh, I would constantly come up with just passed or he had passed or and these are
Mhm.
guys that I grew up with, and some of them just lived too fast and too rough. Others maybe health issues from too much this or that from back in the day. Whatever it is. Some were still living life, and so I do that for them too, and not just them, but everyone who does have a dream. It does sound cliche, but those are the truisms to me of who we are, is to inspire people and say you can do anything that you want to do. Um, you can come from anywhere you want to come from and change your position, and I truly believe it. But I do that for them too, for people who have a dream, who want to do something, change their life, be something different. So yeah, I think all the fans, family, friends, because I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. It's not. You see my resume. That's just the collective resume of my wins. If I had a collective resume of my losses, it would probably double that, triple that. Um,
Mhm.
but
Look at this cool
we don't
shot on
let
the
that.
screen.
Oh yeah, who's those guys? Yeah,
Yeah,
there we
huh?
go. Yeah, man, amazing, amazing. I thought to myself when we did that one, I said, well, if I'm starting out like this,
Kevin Hart, yeah.
yeah, yeah, then I don't think I got too much to worry about, because even if you got this, hey, that's a win.
Yes,
What an
absolutely.
experience. Yeah. Oh yeah, man, that was old school. I think that was on another indie. That was
That's
another
a cool
independent.
shot. Yeah. They're really cool shots we dug up. This is a funny one.
Oh, home team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
there's Chris Titone. And that was a great story right there. If they don't know, if the viewers don't know, that is the true. It's based on a true story of the ex head coach of the New Orleans Saints, Sean Payton. And the year they won the Super Bowl,
mhm.
I believe he got suspended indirectly, though he was never proven that he had knowledge. But he was suspended from coaching for a season. And the true story is that he went back to Texas and he coached his son's little league team, his estranged son's little league team or football team. And that was the story. And Megan Payton, Sean Payton's daughter, actually had done an HBO Expo on that. And it gave Chris Titone and Keith Bloom, the other co-writer, the idea to turn it into a story. And I'm so happy that Adam gave the heads up on that one, because yeah, there's a lot of great stories, a lot of great actors on that one, and man, the longer I stay here, I could probably sit and think of more. But it was just it's a great script, it's a great movie. Check it out if you haven't seen it.
You're the, Modelo Man in the ads too.
Hey, now the
There
beard
he
comes
is.
up. Yes, the Modelo Man. That
Yes,
was
there he
such
is.
an amazing win. We have been having fun all year long with this guy, and
Look for
we
those
we
ads,
have some more to
everybody,
do.
because he's the Modelo Man.
Yeah, so the recruiter of Modelo, that's how we filmed those commercials last year. Wow, has the time flown like that? And yeah, that's why I'm still sporting the beard right now, because we have more work to do. That is on an entire different level, though, of entertainment coming up. I had a few commercials with Dodge and AT&T, but I was just more theatrical or film and television rather than commercial. And they had the auditions, they came out, and I remember reading the breakdown, and it was an amazing character. I kind of loved it, and me doing my thing and always trying to break boundaries, especially as a Chicano actor. I thought, well, I'm not going Don Chente with this one. I went more Sam Elliott, and I created the character, and started kind of practicing a little more like that, and using the voice, and figured out who this guy was. And so, I got the call back. I believe we actually had to do two, maybe three callbacks on this one. and the scope and magnitude of what this was revealed slowly. So it wasn't like I wasn't on edge the first audition, second audition. I was having fun with it, but as it unfolded, I realized, how big the project was and the plans that they had for the recruiter. And so I got it. I was blessed and fortunate enough to get it. And thank you, Townhouse Gray, Constellation Brands, Modelo, Salute. We have been having an amazing year with the promotion.
That is so cool. Here's another great one too, Cross the Line.
Cross the line, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, can't not mention that. That was a B.E.T. original film.
yeah, yeah. I got to play Pee Wee in this one. Working with Ice-T, he was great too. A lot of times uh, people will not necessarily separate, but you just won't get to socialize with everybody on set all the time. Just depending on what scenes you're filming or what zone they're in. But Ice-T, man, he's amazing because consummate professional. He was out engaging all of his fans and hanging out on set, and the he's just an amazing actor. The scene where he ended up shooting me got
Yeah.
pretty emotional. But just a great professional. The homie Pete was on that one too, and wow, we're bringing up some
Bringing
memories.
back some cool memories, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
absolutely.
you had an opportunity, which I think is fantastic. In addition to the major studio success, you played troubled husband and father Danny in the multiple award-winning independent drama, in which you won a Hollywood Series Award for Best Actor in
Yeah,
Addicted to You.
yeah.
Congratulations on that, but that was another
Thank
great
you.
one, huh?
Yeah, we had a great run. Very emotional, very true, uh, very heartfelt. Everyone that worked on that one was really invested into what we were doing. The first award, yeah, and I got to be emotional in that one. It was literally me stepping back and taking uh, emotional scars or other people's stories and diving into what it means to be in these codependent relationships, especially when there's children involved. And the story itself is what I call a snapshot of one particular time in a relationship where you could think it's at that point where it's at its worst. It's that last time, and from point A to point B, you're going to find out, whether the relationship can can be sustained. And to me, it was really emotional to do. It was something I wanted to, but it was a very difficult role taking on Danny because of the whole just from beginning to end was emotion. But everyone was amazing on that one. Directed by Christian Elvileva, cinematographer Jeff Reyes, my co-star and producer Sonia Balcazar. She was amazing. She gave it like we were just throwing punches, emotional punches back and forth, and the community. That's what I really love is that the community recognized that, and a lot of times, we're going for awards from the studios or from the collectives that are around major motion picture or film and television. But to be recognized by your fellow creatives is always an amazing thing. And I definitely hope that even though it was so emotional, I really hope in my lifetime that I'll be able to acquire more roles that are on that level of emotion.
And the peers did notice that you got that award, which is something that I know really was very special to you, the acknowledgement, because sometimes it's easier to get the acknowledgement from the fans, the ones who are always enjoying it all, but then it's a little harder to get it from those who make it too, and they understand what it takes. So when you get the adulation and acknowledgement from the industry, there's something extra special. I've always enjoyed that as well, working in television and broadcast and all the rest. When you get the acknowledgement from your peers, from those who know what it takes,
Yes.
and they tip the hat to you, it's quite special, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's one of those things where level up, level down. We're responsible to acknowledge each other, especially when you're around the community. And I have felt what it's like to be in positions where people that are above you that you look up to do acknowledge you, and many times they do, uh, you know, throw down a hand and pull you up. And so that's the same way that I look at it, in life and career and everything. And I've had the same opportunity to help other people that are coming up, maybe a little bit below the level that I've achieved. But that's where it's at. That's just like the heart of everything that we should be doing, is helping each other and acknowledging other each other. And in the industry, sometimes I said we get so caught up that it's the industry, that as artists, it's always nice to slow down, make something special that's not necessarily about the paycheck, and then just present it to your peers and in the industry, and to get great feedback. It means it means a lot to me.
Absolutely. You also were in another great one, Bosch.
Oh, Bosh, yes, the
Yeah,
last episode, Porsonia. That was an amazing episode because that was another turning point of my career, where I got to play the LAPD liaison. So
right.
I was clean cut. I was in the uniform. We cover up the neck tattoos for certain characters. Others we let them fly. But that was great. Yeah, it was amazing. And it was just before Legacy started. I would have loved to have continued the character, but sometimes you go in, you do your job, and you help them wrap it up. And I was just so honored to be in that series. People don't realize sometimes it's just about being included and being able to be on something that is so legendary. And yeah, that was just an amazing one. Yeah,
So many guest starring roles too. We were just really scratching the surface. Coyote and Animal Kingdom, the Rena Halka thriller collection. Really
yeah.
cool stuff. And you mentioned also Detective Suarez and Fatal Attraction. What was that
hmm
like?
That was great. That was great because all I had to worry about was being a detective with a point of view.
Hmm.
What I was seeing creatively through my eyes when I established that character was something that was a little different than I had ever done prior, because it was just more self-involved as far as the character was concerned, only looking at this character through the eyes of what my part of the story was, and what I wanted. And I guess you could say the character was a little bit more selfish, but for the right reasons. I think that Suarez would have been an amazing role to play on a regular. I wish they would have given us the next season, but to just be included in something that was taken, that's such another iconic thing that was taken and turned into something. And every time there's a lot of talented people out there. I never take it for granted that they could choose someone else completely. That between casting and production, sometimes it's easier to go with someone that may not be rough around the edges, or you want someone that's a little more clean cut. But that's been one of the things that's helped me win as well, is that the rough around the edges is a part of all of us and part of all characters. And so with Detective Suarez, it was just amazing. Just working on the production, everybody was great.
It's really cool. And, there's so many great things that you've had an opportunity to be a part of. There's some recent work too that
Mm.
people might also have an opportunity to check out. 911 Lone Star. Tell us about that, being involved in that. And congratulations, Anthony.
Thank you so much. That was interesting, because as much stunt work as I have done, that was specifically asked for an actor that could handle, the required stunts. They were going to blow the door down on me, and I was going to be
You like
kicking
doing
down
that
some
work, the
doors.
stunts?
And I do.
Yeah.
I really do, because it brings what you do and how you portray the character to a whole other level when you see how the physicality is. A lot of times they say as carnal or instinctive or animalistic as you are, kind of embodies that character. So when you have the ability to do that, it almost heightens the amount, especially when you do get to go back to the bad guy. It heightens the amount of perception that you have all the way around. So I got the job, but they were really concerned. They were like, "Well, we just want to make sure you're comfortable with all the scenes." We did the rehearsals and everything, and I was very comfortable. But when it got down to the day, I mean, we did some amazing work, and I was proud of it because it was something that I really did want to establish on my resume, more even than the size of that role or uh, where they would go with it. I was just more interested in doing that to put on the resume because, like I said, whether it's a nude scene, whether it's because even on Rebel they had me in the camera pouch and naked, and on Truth Be Told we had to do a back scene which was a little more intimate, or just anything that throws me out of the comfort zone
Right.
and makes me kind of adapt or push it. That's what the stunt was for me too. The stunt work on that episode was, it was all about really showing them that I could do it, and uh, I made it look pretty good. The episode was great, and yeah, another notch on Icon. It's just
Yeah.
amazing to be included on so many great productions, and
Really, it's
after a
amazing.
while, you start believing that it wasn't by accident and that
Right.
your work is paying off.
Like
And
maybe there's something here into this.
yeah, it might have some. Yeah, 11 years later, I might have something here.
Exactly. Splash City.
Oh,
That's
let's talk
relatively,
about that. Okay,
that's
so
very recent
uh,
too. Yeah.
yes, that's yet to be released.
Yeah.
It will be released probably within this next year. It's already filmed. This is from producer Burner. He's the owner of the Cookies Dynasty wrapper and
Oh yeah.
clothing, and yeah, and so he wanted to tell the story of the Bay Area and what's going on up there, and the smash and grabs are just insane. If no
Mhm.
one knows what that is, it's just
Oh,
basically they
it's
smash the window and whatever's in
yeah.
there they take. And so people in the Bay Area literally don't even they don't put anything in their car. They don't lock their doors. Some of them even roll the windows down just so they won't get smashed and grabbed. And so they call it splashing and bipping. And so Splash City is a beautiful story of it's intense, it's action, it's a story of brothers, and but it's murder, and it's all centered around this culture, the street culture that
Mhm.
splashes and bips. And I was able to play a detective in that one too, and keep your eyes out for that one. It'll be a feature. It's a feature film, and yeah, I was just happy
That's
to bring
incredible.
together. I don't know how familiar people are with California, but like North and South, and
Yeah.
the
Dis
streets, how they run is
distinct.
different,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so I was happy to be on set as an actor, being brought up to the Bay Area to really honor their story and their culture. But we were bringing brown and black together. We were bringing red and blue together. We were bringing North and South together, and to really be on there with these iconic Bay Area rappers. And there were so many that were on there. Big Tone and Gold Toes, and so it was just amazing to work with. Get this element of new work or new actors. They were so amazing that and then you had seasoned people, even if they were young, you got like Shannon Reed, and
Mhm.
um, but the collective of people that were making this story, I think it's going to make it a pretty big success because you just knew you were filming on something special.
We're looking forward to that Splash City.
Yeah,
Uh,
Splash City.
it was interesting you talk about, San Francisco and all, and I've had an opportunity working in television to be out in California a lot for various television projects, LA, San Diego, Temecula,
Hmm.
Hollywood, up to San Francisco, Napa Valley, all of it. And each area is so unique, so different. And in San Francisco was really cool. I love San Francisco. It's a great city. It's a great American
Great
city.
city.
But it was interesting. In the same day, we were filming in Nob Hill, which is a
Mm,
really beautiful area. And
yes, it is.
then, and the camera crew, you know, had everything all set up in Nob Hill. But then when they heard that we had to go downtown, they were a little nervous about the equipment and all, like you talk about with Splash City.
Yeah.
And we went into Tenderloin, the Tenderloin section of
Hmm.
San Francisco, which if anybody isn't familiar with it, it's maybe a little bit like Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia, maybe little bit
Yeah.
like
Oh,
Skid
it's
Row in LA. It's a tough
yeah,
part of the area of the city. We actually walked in the city and we ate at a fantastic Vietnamese restaurant. The food was delicious. I mean,
yeah.
the crew we were with, they knew all about the area, but the truck that we were in, the van we were in, was completely black. It looked like it was something from SWAT because the
Wow.
windows were black because they didn't want the television equipment and everything exposed,
Oh yeah.
in there. But it was, I remember one of the camera guys, he refused to go into the area. He said, "No, I'm not." So we grabbed the cameras ourselves, and I'm the on-air guy, but we were able to set it all up. But really interesting, fascinating, and you know, putting some attention on things, I think, is really fantastic, and telling human stories and real stories, because a lot of things can happen when you tell stories that can really be amazing. The results, the things that happen, right? The positivity, the inspiration, the hope that sometimes can happen from shedding the light on certain topics and issues and stories that people might not
Absolutely.
know about, or they see but they pass it by every day. It can really be powerful work, right?
Absolutely. No, no, you're so dead on with that. It's the only it's the communication, and it's subtle form of it, and sometimes when you allow someone to pick or choose, they would not pick your story or your voice or whatever it is that you have to say. But when we wrap it in these amazing stories that do reflect places that some of us haven't seen or may not know exist or have grown up in or just unfamiliar with, what we do is just so much more important sometimes than what I think people give it credit for, because it really is an influential thing. It's what can change the point of view of somebody. There could be some prejudiced person sitting somewhere off that doesn't like one thing, but then if you intrigue them enough on a show or some project might change their point of view, and it changes us as well. It's the person that was there. Like you have the story with the camera crew and working down that well. All of you have that story, and that goes along with your life experiences that expand into telling that story or having that story to tell other people. And that's what we are. We're human beings, and we're meant to share our stories and our cultures. And even if we didn't have the capabilities to make cinema or commercials or entertainment, there I think there would still be creative people performing, and we would still be showing up to watch them. Yeah, oh, that's what, I didn't even think of that. And I have to admit, without even reflecting or thinking, but just I just know 100% that there has to be many, many things along the course of my life that have influenced me or changed me, that came from cinema. And I won't blame the bad things maybe that hype you up a little bit, but I just want to acknowledge the fact that it's so much bigger than what we do in storytelling. And that's what's fun for me as an actor, is like they don't just want you to play a Mexican guy from LA. I've gone to Hawaii, and I've gone to Barcelona, and I've gone to Alabama, and New York, and all these different Hawaii, all these beautiful places, to take on other characters and tell this story. And life moves fast sometimes, so we don't stop and reflect. But in those moments when I stop and reflect, I will remind everyone to do that. And even in these simple
Yes,
moments of stories and storytelling and characters, find the enjoyment in that. And, go to a movie, go see
that's
these
right.
stories. Pick one that you may not be familiar with. One of the biggest changes from like OG cool young me was when I really caught that passion for acting. I was finding myself watching A24 movies, independent film channels, and I'm like, why am I watching the plight of this 16-year-old teenage girl struggling with life? But it changes you, and you realize that, like, given your choice, you never would have opened your mind to that.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. What do you like to do to counter it all? What is your relaxation, your reboot? Do you go to the ocean? Do you hike? What do you like? Do you like to cook? Spend time with the family? What are some things you like to do to get away so you can unplug and then replug, energized to do it all again?
First, I really need the gym, and I don't consider myself a lunkhead, but I need that. I try and go 5, 6 times a week, maybe every day, for different things. Not that I'm always benching it out, but I love the steam room. I love just sitting in that hot steam and breathing and centering. Um, you know, I do love to hike. I love getting out in nature, spending time with the family. I do volunteer my time, and I keep a lot of that private because it's for me and it's for what I do. But at the same time, I am proud of it. I donate my time and I keep my spirituality in check. I really, I look at all of this beautiful creation that we have, and it was not just by some accidents. And I don't have all the answers to life, but one thing I do know that this is a great, grand, beautiful design, and we're all part of it. And, I'm just trying to find my way like everyone else, and that's why you hear me. I say God bless billions because we're billions of people here just trying to figure it out and get it right. And it's an amazing world, and based in love, it can be a beautiful thing, and based in fear, it can be an absolutely horrible thing. But
Correct.
we collectively come together and stand. And I don't need to be super strong or super powerful, but um, just me being who I am and delivering my share and contribution to the world. It is more than just acting to me. Even though some roles are, hey, yeah, that's cool. We did a good job on that one, but it's the collective vision that I have is that the more we can do, the more people can connect and just understand each other, then the better the world will be.
Beautifully said. I'm right there with you, my friend. I think we're kindred spirits in the way we think about life, the way we approach life, the way we respect people and the things around us, and learn from life and the choices made, and want to do good and make a difference and leave the room better than we found it, connect people, collaborate, lift them up as well, because when you lift people up, you're lifted as well at the same time. And we're the lucky ones getting a chance to do it through the art and through work that we love, that touches people, interests people, makes people think, engages them, hopefully inspires them, entertains them. And I know you're loving the ride as well. This was a fantastic, as I say, not interview. We do conversations here at the Jim Masters Show, free flowing, and we just shoot the breeze with everybody watching. We've had a lot of people commenting and saying some really beautiful things, and we welcome everybody in all the comments. They're loving it all. Thanks for all these great comments, everybody. Um, this was really terrific, my friend. I hope that you'll come back and see us again. As I always say, we keep the porch light on and the door is open for all of our guests. And I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you, Anthony. This was a blast.
Absolutely, Jim. I had an amazing time, and I'm so glad we got to sit down and have a good conversation. Thank you to all the viewers, and I will definitely be back. All you have to do, and I'm there. And I
That's it.
got your back if you need anything else.
I appreciate that. I
I
appreciate
got you.
that.
I got you.
Well, that's it, right? East Coast, West Coast connected. Um, and if you're on the East Coast, ever visiting, let me know. We're going to bite to eat. We're welcome
Yeah.
to do that. It'd be fantastic to break bread. Somebody had asked earlier, is your daughter getting into this industry? Is she tickled by this industry?
My youngest definitely. She even through COVID, she started performing. They called it prose, but she was delivering monologues, and she was part of the debate team. But it wasn't
Ah,
like
me too. I was the
your
president of mine
regular.
in college, the
Yeah,
debate team. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
So yeah,
Okay.
and she's triple threat. I can
Oh,
hold
she?
my own in performance, but she sings, dances, and performs, and acts. And so I would see she maybe. My oldest daughter, she is probably going to be a doctor. You're going to hear Dr. Fernandez come out of this family, which would be amazing.
That is so cool. That is congratulations on that, huh? That is
Thank you.
amazing, right?
Yes.
If not play one on TV.
There you go. That's it.
I was
That's
going to
it.
say, Grey's Anatomy's waiting. That is fantastic. A lot of great comments coming in. Thank you very much. We're glad you guys enjoyed this, and cool stuff. Come see us again, my friend. Spread the word about the Jim Masters show. Loved having you here, and you're really enjoying the ride, and you're doing what you love, and that's truly, truly a blessing, my friend. And I'm glad we're able to tell a little bit of your story here on the Jim Masters show with all of our viewers, and everybody's sending you all kinds of love from Canada and from
Wow.
Kansas
Oh,
and
wow.
from Arizona and from New York City and
Wow.
yeah, all over. We
Thank
love
you.
it. It's good stuff.
Thank
We're
you.
coming at you
More
live,
to come.
everybody. More to
We got
come.
more to come.
Absolutely. You stay tuned, gang. And good stuff. We love it. Oh, somebody did ask maybe before. He's probably like,
Yes,
oh, I
of
hope we get
course.
the question in.
It's okay.
Antoine Frazier wanted to know, what's your favorite role? That's a tough one, huh? Thanks for the question,
Very tough
Antoine.
one. Yeah.
Welcome all new viewers too.
I have to say the favorite role was Calvin from Home Team, but the Modelo Recruiter live action, being able to perform in almost the fourth dimension or third dimension, whatever that is, to interact with people is so satisfying in the character that you created, you live in, and it's not just like a take, or it's even beyond stage acting or theater, because nobody else is helping with the lines. If anything, people are throwing things at me that I have to improv, or
Right.
but I love the human interaction and that element of it. So, and I get to meet people like Reggie Bush.
See, that's it. It's really cool stuff and many more. And it was a pleasure meeting you, my friend, new friend.
Thank you.
Come see us again. Thanks for all the time. We're very generous with your time as well, my friend. And we'll keep rooting for you, keep rooting for us, and we'll keep that light on for you. Best of everything, Anthony. Thanks for joining us on the Jim Masters Show. It was a blast.
Thank you, Jim.
You be well. Cheers. Anthony L. Fernandez right here on the Jim Masters Show. I know you guys were mesmerized looking back at some of the amazing shows and series and everything that he's been a part of. Really cool stuff. An amazing talent, a terrific actor. Again, he mentions that he came from humble beginnings and he was able to get through all of that. He was able to rise up, shine, make his way, still with the love of family. And he took different turns in his life, different avenues and roads he went down. But he realized, and others realized as well, that he had a talent. And it's time to bring that talent out. And whether it's television or film, he's been doing so much. And look for him in Splash City. That's coming out soon as well. Recently, 911 Lone Star, and just some of the great shows we talked about, Hawaii Five-0 and SWAT and NCIS, and even the Young and the Restless and Days of Our Lives and Superstore, and just incredible. And of course, The Wedding Ringer. That was another great one too, which is one of the first ones for him. And some really terrific commentary he had about Addicted to You, where he won that Hollywood Award for his acting capabilities. Cool stuff. I'm your host, Jim Masters. This is the Jim Masters Show, entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series. And this is what we do. We have amazing conversations, free flowing, with all of our celebrity friends and guests who stop by JMS from all over the country, all over America, Canada, and around the world. We all come together and have a good time with all of you, our faithful viewers. And gang, we would love it if you enjoyed this episode to give it a thumbs up like. There's a thumbs up like icon on the YouTube channel. It's a little thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up. Share this episode on your social media. That helps us reach many more people around the world. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, where there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of incredible episodes with amazing guests from all around the world. You can also follow us on social media at Instagram, Facebook, and X at Jim Masters TV. Anthony is, of course, also on social media, so you can check him out online as well. He was coming to us from the City of Angels, from Los Angeles, California, his home base there in Hollywood. And he said things are getting better there. So we send our continued love to our friends, family, and colleagues in LA. It's been a tough time for them in Los Angeles recently. We know people personally who have been affected. And so we send our love to everybody on the West Coast in Los Angeles. But leave a comment below too. Drop a comment right down there in the comments section. Interact with us. Say hello. Where do you watch our show from? And also, perhaps maybe there's one of those shows, the TV shows or the movies that you've seen Anthony in, and you want to drop a comment, or just let us know what you enjoy about the Jim Masters Show series. We love hearing from everybody, and we hear from a lot of people, and we thank you very much for the comments and for subscribing and liking and sharing. We thank Anthony L. Fernandez for joining us as my special guest here on the Jim Masters Show for all of you. This is your host, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, you could always support our show when the shows are live and super chat in the chat section. If you're chatting, there's super chat, super emoji, super stickers. That helps us grow and also helps fund what we're doing here. And also 24/7, there's a little super thanks icon on all the episodes. Even when the shows aren't live, you can also click super thanks and help support us there as well. We appreciate everybody who does that and who has done that. And so nice to see so many new faces joining us. You're all Jim Masters Show lovities, as we call it here on the program. And thanks to everybody, all these beautiful comments. And thank you very much. I'm so happy you guys enjoyed the conversation here on the Jim Masters Show. Come see us again. This is Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, love one another, take care of one another, and do the very same for yourself. We'll be right here waiting for you in Lovely Hall on the Jim Masters Show. We love you all. Take care and be well. Cheers.